What is up, my basketball fans? We're back at another one. Today, we're going to be talking about Bradley Beal and the mess and problem with the Washington Wizards. Let's get into it. So, it would be a big understatement for me to say that the Washington Wizards have probably been the biggest disappointment of this year's season. Bradley Beal, man, he's been absolutely hooping and dropping 62 points, 50 points, 40-point games, and it has resulted into losses. Like last night, I think the Washington Wizards were going against the New Orleans Pelicans, and they lost the game as Bradley Beal dropped 47 points. And at some point, it's going to boil over. I can see that Bradley Beal wants to stay in Washington. I think he wants to give Washington chance after chance to prove that they can be a legit playoff team in the Eastern Conference. But I can see game after game after game that he's getting more and more frustrated. He's getting more and more frustrated, and I think one game he's just gonna snap because you can see it in his play. He's still going out there averaging 34 points per game, but he's doing it in a fashion where he doesn't want to do it in. He wants to win these games where he's dropping 35, 40 points. And that hasn't been the case for the Washington Wizards. I think they need to just do a fire sale. Do a fire sale. Trade Russell Westbrook if you can, which you're probably not going to be able to because he doesn't have any value as of right now since he's not had a good season. He's not been able to stay on the court this year. So I don't know what you can do with Russell Westbrook. But trade Bradley Beal. You have to trade Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, you need to know it's okay to ask for a trade. We won't be mad at you. Washington fans shouldn't be mad at you. They won't be mad at you if you went out there and asked or requested for a trade because you literally gave it your all. You gave it your all. You don't owe Washington anything. You went out there night after night and just played basketball. You didn't take the James Harden route or the Anthony Davis route and literally force your way out of the city. That's not what Bradley Beal has done, and I respect Bradley Beal a ton for doing that. And I think that through all this can't go overlooked because Bradley Beal could right now just stop playing and just say, I won't play another basketball game until you guys trade me, or sit out games purposely when he could be out there playing basketball. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. He goes out there night after night and just tries his best to carry his team to a victory. And it just doesn't happen. So with Washington, I think it's time for those guys to, like the Oklahoma City Thunder did, start your fire sale. Start your fire sale. Trade Bradley Beal. If you got any other contracts, free agent contracts that you have on the Bucks, most likely trade those two and obtain some draft picks and start your rebuild. Start your rebuild. Because it's obvious that the Russell Westbrook trade, you lost that trade. You lost that trade the way it looks like right now. You lost that trade because I understand right now, from hindsight, it looks like, oh, Russell Westbrook just had a good season for the Houston Rockets and he wants out. So we're gonna grab him, pair him with Bradley Beal. We should be okay. And we're gonna trade John Wall, who's on a mega contract and is coming off an injury. But John Wall hasn't looked that bad. He hasn't looked that bad. Am I going to say that if John Wall's on Washington Wizards right now, they're a better team? No, because I think if you take away Bradley Beal or any of the star that they have paired with him, whether it's Westbrook or John Wall, that team isn't doing anything in the Eastern Conference. That's just the way it is. I like Rui Hachimura. I like Didi Vita. But those guys have yet to really, Rui Hachimura, to be exact, has yet to really taken that big step. Rui hasn't played that many games this year. He's played 7 games. And, it's just not going to work with Washington. It's not. I like Davis Bertans, who's a sniper. I like him, but it's just not going to work. Their defense is horrible. Horrible. It was one of the worst last year, and it's one of the worst this year where they're giving up 120 points per game. They can't guard anything. Like Bradley Beal said, they can't guard a parked car. And it's shown in every single game. It's shown in every single game. The Washington Wizards right now stand at 3-11. 3-11. And I think that, it's time to throw in the towel. It's time to throw in the towel. Fire Scott Brooks. He's been there a little bit too long. He's never led you guys to a deep playoff run. You know, he never elevated nobody outside of Bradley Beal and John Wall. He's never really had that third guy who can help those two guys, you know, try and get a, a deep playoff run. So I think it's time for you to cut him, send him on his way, man. Send his way packing, and just start over. There's no problem with starting over. Oklahoma City Thunder, after the Paul George and Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony fiasco and how they tried to make those three guys work, it didn't work. What they do? They start over. They trade Paul George. They trade Russell Westbrook. They let go of Carmelo Anthony. That's what the Wizards are going to have to do, because this is not going to work. Now, I want to get into a few of the teams that we could probably see Bradley Beal go to, or some suitors that could be for Bradley Beal. Number one, I want to come out with the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets should definitely go all out for Bradley Beal, because coming from a Clippers fan, if the Denver Nuggets pick up Bradley Beal with Jokic and Jamal Murray, that might make those guys the favorites in the West. That might make them favorites in the West. Jokic has played like an MVP player this year. Bradley Beal's averaging 34 points per game. And you know what Jamal Murray's going to do. Some nights Jamal Murray's going to be off. But when Jamal Murray is hot, he's hot. When Jamal Murray is hot, he can be the best player on the court. You know, so I would like to see Denver try to get a package for Bradley Beal. You know, I know it's gonna be around Michael Porter Jr., who I know they value heavy. You know, Gary Harris, some picks. I think that's enough to get Bradley Beal if you want to really go out there and win a championship, which the Denver Nuggets, if they pick up Beal, can do. So next, I want to go to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks. I never thought that with Chris Middleton as the second star or the second guy, I never thought that the Milwaukee Bucks was going to make it that far. I never thought that the Milwaukee Bucks were going to get to a championship with Chris Middleton as the second guy. I just don't know what's up with Chris Middleton. Like, he's a good player, but he's not going to take over a game. I think when you think about this second star on these teams, like the Lakers with Anthony Davis as the second star, LeBron James, I'm going to say Anthony Davis right now because LeBron James is playing like MVP. With Anthony Davis, he can take over a game. He could be the most dominant player in the game with Anthony Davis. The Brooklyn Nets, rather if it's KD, Kyrie, James Harden, all those guys can take over a game. But with Chris Middleton, he's not going to take over a game. If Giannis Antetokounmpo's not on his A game, I can't see Chris Middleton dragging his team up and carrying those guys to victory on his back. I can't see it. So if you pair Chris Middleton up, Dante DiVincenzo, Brook Lopez or something like that for Bradley Beal, and you have Giannis and Jrue Holiday, that will make you guys a powerhouse in the Eastern Conference. I would like to see Giannis, Bradley Beal, Jrue Holiday versus KD and James Harden and Kyrie Irving in the playoffs. I would love to see that. So if Milwaukee wants to really go out and get a championship, you pair Middleton some picks, maybe Dante DiVincenzo, you know, and you pair those guys in a deal for Bradley Beal. Number 3, I want to say the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat. Now, the thing that gets me with Miami is that they value Tyler Hero pretty heavy. They value him pretty heavy. So I don't think they would be willing to pair up him, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic, some few picks to obtain Bradley Beal. Even though I would love to see it happen, because we all know that Miami Heat went to the finals last year. That wasn't a fluke to me. That wasn't a fluke. You don't get to the finals, you know, by luck. That doesn't happen. If you were meant to go to the finals, you're going to go to the finals. So Miami was probably destined to go to the finals last year. So if they really want to, you know, take a stand over the Eastern Conference and pick up Bradley Beal to pair with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, I don't know if they're going to do it or not, because they really value Tyler Hero very heavy. So if they weren't willing to package him in a James Harden deal, I don't know if they're going to be able to pair him with a Bradley Beal. So, but through all this, Bradley Beal, we are praying for you, man. We want you to win. We want you to win. And I don't want Bradley Beal to be one of those players who talent was wasted because he was on a bad team. And I think if Bradley Beal stays with Washington, that's what it's going to be. You know, so yeah, that's good for me, man. I just wanted to talk about that topic. It's been pretty hot lately. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. On our way to 100 subscribers. If you want to help us get there quicker, hit the subscribe button. Until then, it's me, boy J Dimes. I am out.